Slowly, he opens the door, and in the center of the room, something catches his attention. On top of the altar is an albino deer with a purple horn. The creature is all graceful as Liang approaches. The system warns that this is the white flower deer, the most beautiful creature, all the mid-ranking creatures, and that it is also extremely selective with whom they associate. Our boy thinks the system is exaggerating with this information, while the guys next to him say it's ridiculous to spend so much money to support a mid-ranking creature. They comment that they've never seen another beast treated like this. The guy with brown hair comments that maybe it's because of the appearance, and at that moment, the deer looks back. The boy says it's just because the rich like to show off, when suddenly he gets a water jet on his head and gets all confused. The deer stares at the two, and they run away. One of them comments that mid-ranking creatures have intelligence similar to humans, so it's better to get out of there. The protagonist, observing the creature, thinks that what the guys said really makes sense, until their eyes meet. Something catches the creature's attention as it thinks about the eyes he has. She approaches and starts walking around him. Gets very close to his eye and starts staring. All of a sudden, the lunar book appears in his hand, with the message that a new beast was unlocked and the number of illustrations increased. That's when something catches Liang's attention. That wasn't a mid-ranking creature, but a supreme-ranking creature capable of destroying a kingdom. A type of monster with more consciousness and intelligence than any human and that dominates all animals. That thing is basically a nuclear bomb in the middle of the academy. If that creature decides to do anything, this whole place is destroyed. That's when he comes to the conclusion that if she is there, it means the academy knows she won't harm anyone. And since those guys were expelled just by being splashed with water, apparently she has no intention of doing harm. However, you also can't rule out the possibility that she is hiding her strength from everyone. Unlike him, who everyone thinks is strong, but is actually extremely weak. He looks at her, who is looking at the plaque that says she is a mid-ranking creature. They stare at each other. He knows very well that she is aware she is deceiving everyone, but then he gets startled. She shifts to an aggressive stance, and he imagines she's afraid of her identity being exposed. With that, he starts speaking loudly, saying that this mid-ranking creature is so beautiful that he couldn't move. He knows that the most important thing for now is not to become an enemy of something like that. He decides to walk around pretending to admire other things, until the door closes and he runs out of the place, while the deer stands there, remembering our boy's eyes and wondering who he was to have those eyes. She goes to her bed and pulls out a phone with a wallpaper of a female deer. She searches for a boy in the city with crescent moon eyes, and she gets startled upon discovering something. Meanwhile, in the tamer's dormitory, he is exhausted, wondering how the school dares to keep a T-Rex in the middle of the zoo. Even worse, since despite that appearance, that creature is much more dangerous than a dinosaur. Luckily, he met her there because if it were in the wild, he would need another supreme-ranking beast to get out alive. And the worst part is that his creatures are the lowest of the lowest rankings. That's when he realizes that the creatures he touched are the ones he can see the abilities of, and he gives this silly speech saying that everything is in the palm of his hand. He decides to go back to confirm this with another beast from the academy. However, on the way, he sees that rabbit and wonders if it's the same one he saw in the morning. He finds it strange that the creature is so calm because lunar monsters are usually more active at night. The rabbit is looking all cute and calm at him, and the protagonist wonders if it's another extremely powerful creature by chance. He calmly decides to touch it to get information. As soon as he touches the creature, nothing happens, and he discovers that it's a creature that doesn't have a lunar physique. This means it can only strengthen on a full moon night, and he realizes that it's weaker than low-ranking creatures. He thinks he was an idiot for thinking he would find two extremely strong monsters. That's when someone drops some food and a phone falls to the ground. Something catches the protagonist's attention, and he doesn't know that he's being watched by Bei Yuer. She wonders if she is really seeing the Lunar King petting a weak creature. With that, she returns to the dormitory. Jing asks what happened, and the cat girl questions what the chances are that the Lunar King actually likes small monsters. Her friend is confused by this sudden question, but then she runs off, saying she was just kidding. Upon entering her room, she starts thinking about it, remembering the gentle expression the Lunar King had with the little rabbit, and she wonders in a very gentle and well-behaved way if she was the only one who knew that side of the Lunar King.